Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason.
This contest is for the Cruiserweight Championship, scheduled for one fall. In the North Corn Howley High School jockstrap, Batman.
I feel like I need to ask how much time you allot yourself to stare at the mirror. No wonder Wicked Thunder wanted you so badly. The only person that would touch your body more than her is yourself. I honestly think the only way you could look more like a protagonist is if you had an American skull tattoo on the side of your neck. But let's get one thing very clear. If you think you're the protagonist in this situation, let me ask you, how many universes have you saved? Yeah, that's what I thought. Now give me my belt. Time to learn about Cruiserweight M4. Simplified. When you zone in, there will be a shimmering AoE around the outside of the arena. Touching this wall will give you a 15-second bleeding dot tick. Extra planar pursuit is a room-wide AoE. Great Divide will give the main tank a shared straight-line tank buster. Tanks can join together away from the rest of the group and take this, although it can be taken by a single tank if you mitigate properly. Everyone else will need to move away from this unless you want to cosplay as Roadkill. Howling Blade will move into the middle of the arena and cast Wolves' Reign. This will create an AoE underneath him as well as 3 transparent dashing clones which will be pulsing away from the boss in a triangle formation. When the cast ends, there will be AoEs towards the wall where the clones were dashing to. Getting hit by any of the 4 AoEs for this mechanic will give you a vuln stack. Howling Blade himself will follow one of the clones and move to the edge of the arena. He will quickly cast Wolves' Reign again. This one will be a straight line AoE through the middle of the arena, which Howling Blade will dash through to the other side. Getting hit by the straight line AoE will give you a vuln stack. Howling Blade will then turn around and quickly cast a third Wolves' Reign. This will perform a 120-degree sweeping conal AoE to the rest of the arena. Getting hit by this conal AoE will give you a vuln stack and also knock you back a set distance, which can send you into the wall, although you can use knockback immunity to nullify the push. So for this entire Wolves' Reign mechanic, you'll need to avoid the dashing clones, then move to the side of the straight line AoE, but also move close to where Howling Blade will be dashing towards to avoid the sweeping conal AoE. He will then repeat the triple Wolves' Reign mechanic. Howling Blade will then move back into the middle of the arena and cast Heaven's Earth, which will give one player a stack marker. Group up to share the damage. After this will be the cast of Beckon Moonlight. 4 untargetable clones of Howling Blade, one at a time, will dash to each of the cardinal points around the arena. Each of them will be holding their sword to one side of their body. Each clone will cast Moonlight's Bite and dash across the arena in the order that they appeared. They will cleave the side of the arena that their sword is raised on, so you'll need to see which side the sword is raised on for each clone and get to the opposite side to avoid each attack. Getting hit by any of these cleaves will give you a vuln stack. There is a simple way to dodge these, as you will only need to pay attention to the first 2 clones that spawned in, one of which will always be north. You're going to want to stand on the opposite quadrant to the 2 clones that spawned in. You will then need to look for which way their swords are raised, as this will determine the first safe zone. There are 4 patterns for this mechanic, but they can be split into 2 categories. Either the swords are being raised on the same side, on the left or right, or they are in opposite hands, with the swords pointing inwards towards each other or outwards and away from each other. If both swords are on the same side, you're going to move one quadrant in the opposite direction to the way both swords are raised. So if they are both raised to the left, you're moving to the right, and if they are both raised to the right, you're moving to the left. If the swords are pointing inwards towards the clones, you're already in the safe quadrant and you don't need to move. If the swords are pointing outwards away from the clones, you'll need to move straight across into the opposite quadrant. After you've moved into the safe quadrant, stay close to the center of the arena, preferably within the hitbox of the boss, and wait until the first 2 clones dash past. Then move straight through the boss to the opposite quadrant. No matter what, this quadrant will always be safe from the final 2 dashes. This way, you won't have to figure out all 4 safe areas and run around the arena constantly dodging. You will only need to find one safe zone and move once straight across to the opposite side, and everything will happen around you. Howling Blade will then disappear with the cast of Shadow Chase. 5 clones will appear in a star shape and fire a straight line AoE directly in front of them. The safe spots for this mechanic are directly behind the clones. Just move to one of these 5 spots to avoid being hit. Getting hit by any of the straight line AoEs will give you a vuln stack. After these go off, Howling Blade will return to the arena and cast Bare Fangs. The Pod Racer engines will fly from his back and appear in the arena. They will cast Fanged Charge and create straight line AoEs across the arena. You'll just need to dodge between them as best you can. Getting hit by any of these will give you a vuln stack. As this is happening, Howling Blade will cast Terrestrial Rage. This will be 3 sets of 6 small AoEs underneath random party members. You'll just need to dodge away from these to avoid them. Getting hit by any of these small AoEs will give you a vuln stack. After this will be another Heaven's Earth stack marker, followed by Howling Blade moving to the north end of the arena and casting Tactical Pack. He will become untargetable and a bar labeled Saber Intensity will appear. If this bar fills, Howling Blade will wipe the group. The yellow head named Wolf of Stone and the green head named Wolf of Wind will spawn into the arena. These adds do not need to be separated, so you can group them up together and destroy them as fast as possible. As you are burning down the adds, there will be one of two mechanics. Either point-blank AoEs on all players, which everyone will need to spread out for to not overlap these, or one person will get a stack marker, so everyone will need to group up to share the damage. At the same time, both adds will target random party members with a straight line AoE. Just move away from these to avoid them. If you get hit by either straight line AoE, you'll get a Von stack. Both straight line AoEs and the mechanic on the party will go off at the same time, so make sure that you dodge them. If you have the stack marker, you'll need to move quickly before the cast of the straight line AoEs end, as you don't want to get cut off from the rest of the party. Once both adds have been defeated, Howling Blade will cast his multi-hitting ultimate called Ravenous Saber. After this goes off, it will not only reduce the size of the available safe area inside the lingering bleed wall, but it will also remove the railings around the outside, so make sure that you don't fat finger that backflip and take in the views of Cloud City. As Howling Blade becomes targetable again, you will notice that he now has the buff Hungry for Victory. There will be text on screen and in the chat that reads, "Invigorated by battle, the Howling Blade strikes all the swifter." This means that for the remainder of the fight, all of the attacks will now happen slightly faster. Wolves' Reign will be the same as Phase 1, except there will now be an extra 2 untargetable adds of Wolf of Stone that will appear beside the boss as the Conal AoE is created. They will cast a straight line AoE in front of themselves, which will shrink the available safe areas. However, they go off just after the Conal AoE, so you can get into the safe zone to avoid the Howling Blade's AoE, then move to the side to dodge the straight line AoEs. Howling Blade will then move into the middle of the arena and cast Terrestrial Titans. If you've ever done the Slicer's Right Gate in the Gold Saucer or the Evil East raids, you'll be well trained for what's coming up. 3 black circles will appear in a triangular pattern on the outside edge of the arena. There will be a tower that will rise out of each circle. If you are still in a black circle when it rises out of the ground, it will push you out of the way and give you a Von stack. Howling Blade will then dash around the arena in a raid-wide attack called Titanic Pursuit and slice through the towers. The angle of the slice is the direction the tower will fall, with the bottom part of the cut acting as the hinge. All 3 towers will fall into the arena at the same time. Getting hit by any of the falling towers will give you a Von stack. This will happen 3 times, with the towers shifting their spawn locations and being sliced differently each time. You'll need to avoid the falling towers as best you can. If you're still struggling with this mechanic, here's how I solve it. All 3 towers will fall in an anti-clockwise direction, with each tower being sliced to fall at a different angle. Move into the center of the arena so you can quickly identify which of the 3 towers will be falling into the middle. You'll know which one it is, as you'll be able to see more of the cut as you're looking at the tower. Once you've found the correct tower, continue to look at it while moving to the left of it so that you're standing between it and the neighboring tower at max melee range. After the towers fall, move back into the middle of the arena and repeat the process of locating the middle tower and moving to the left for all 3 sets of towers. Whilst there are multiple safe spots for each time this mechanic happens, this one is the biggest and easiest to find, meaning you'll always be safe from any of the collapsing towers. Following this, there will be another extra planar pursuit room-wide AoE and another Great Divide shared tank buster. Howling Blade will then cast Bare Fangs again. Just after the lasers have been placed down, Howling Blade will cast another Wolves' Reign. You'll need to dodge the first set of straight line AoEs, then find a safe zone that will let you dodge the second set of line AoEs and the first set of circular AoEs of Wolves' Reign. Then you can dodge the rest of the Wolves' Reign mechanic as it resolves. There will be another round of Bare Fangs, followed by a cast of Shadow Chase. Howling Blade will disappear and the 5 clones will appear. You'll need to dodge the straight line AoEs from the Bare Fangs and then get behind the transparent clones before they cast their straight line AoEs. Immediately after they go off, 5 Wolf of Wind heads will appear in the spaces between where the clones were. These heads will also create straight line AoEs, so you'll need to dodge behind the Green Wolf heads after the straight line AoEs from the transparent clones go off. As Howling Blade returns to the arena, there will be another room-wide AoE, followed by a cast of Tracking Tremors. This is a multi-hitting stack marker targeting a random party member. Everyone will need to group up and share the damage for all 5 hits. Howling Blade will move back into the middle of the arena and cast Beckon Moonlight again. The 4 clones will position themselves at the cardinal points of the arena again, but their attacks will go off quicker than before. Just locate the safe zone and quickly move to the opposite quadrant after the first 2 dashes. After these dashes happen, 4 Wolf of Stone adds will appear and create an X through the middle of the arena. You'll just need to get to the safe corner spots on the outside of the arena to avoid the straight line AoEs. As these are put down, Howling Blade will create the AoEs underneath random party members with the cast of Terrestrial Rage. You'll need to dodge the straight line AoEs and the small AoEs around the arena as best you can. From here, mechanics will begin to repeat until Howling Blade has been defeated. Congratulations, you have completed the Arcadion Cruiserweight Raid series. My name is The Scrub. Thank you for watching.